Hey guys, welcome to another speed build. I hope you're all having a fantastic day and happy New Year's Eve. For today's speed build, we are over in Brindleton Bay and I am building on this 30 by 30 lot that is right in front of the Hecking household. You can see the name of the lot in the top left corner, Domus Familiaris. And I honestly love this lot, but I cannot stand the fact that that light is there in the way and it never disappears. Usually when you get close to objects in The Sims, especially in the world, they will disappear the closer you get to it so you can kind of see past it, but that light was the bane of my existence for this whole entire build, and it's even in the thumbnail, and that honestly drove me crazy. But for this type of build that I wanted to do, this was honestly the perfect lot for it, so I sucked it up and I looked past it, and you know what, it's fine. I mean, I guess it gives that realistic aspect, you know, because in real life, objects don't just disappear, so I guess at least there's that. But I don't remember the last time I did a modern farmhouse, to be honest. I don't know if I ever have, especially on my YouTube channel. I definitely have never done a modern farmhouse, so it was fun for a change. Now, keep in mind, this is not my particular style. I don't love modern farmhouses. Like, they're cute, they're just not my style. And so keep that in mind as you're watching this. I tried my best to keep it like a modern farmhouse style, but probably more on the modern side as far as the furnishings on the inside goes. We have a lot, as you can probably tell already, of white, gray, and black throughout the build. And these yellow flower boxes, I actually changed them to red. And I love the red flower boxes, so it was so nice to be able to use them in this build because they don't always match very well with things. Especially landscaping. I love my landscaping to match the flower boxes on the house, and there's not a lot of good red landscaping. And so I have a lot of white landscaping, so I guess that kind of goes pretty well with the red. And then I have some of those like functional bushes that you can either woohoo in, or you can like nap in, or you can even use the restroom in there. I have some of those throughout the landscaping too, just for the landscaping look, not necessarily for the functionality of it. I did leave one functional though, so if you want to be, you know, kind of weird and go to the bathroom in there, or you know what, woohoo, no one is judging, you are able to do that in the one in the backyard. But yeah, so like I was saying, there's a lot of white, gray, and black with red accents. There's not a whole lot of red on the inside. I really wanted to keep that at a minimum, so it's like a pop-out color, and I think the inside turned out so nice in this build. I usually like the outside of my builds better than the inside, but honestly, I love the inside probably better than the outside of this build. The outside is not bad, especially considering that I don't do a lot of modern farmhouses, so this was definitely new territory for me, but it was fun, you know, to do something a little bit different than the normal suburban house that I usually do. On the outside of this house, on the side over here, I just wanted the look of a garage on the side of the house. I kind of like that for some reason. I've been doing that every once in a while for my Sims builds, but I don't keep it on the inside of the build. I actually just have the bedrooms over on that side of the house. It's almost like a split floor plan. Well, no, it is a split floor plan on the inside of the house. And I absolutely love that I was able to do that in this house. I love a good split floor plan, and I don't get to do that very often in my Sims builds because I usually do 2-story houses, and when I do 1-story houses, the floor plan just doesn't work out that way. So I was super happy to see that the floor plan worked out perfectly in this house, that I was able to have the master bedroom on one side and all of the other bedrooms on the other side of the house. So I was super, super happy with that. And like I was saying, over here where the garages are, it's just a look for the outside of the build. On the inside, it's literally just the bedrooms. I just didn't feel like having a garage in this house. I didn't feel like decorating a garage. I always, you know, tend to keep my garages if I have one on the outside. So I just didn't feel like doing that this time. That's really all there is to say about that. I do end up putting a couple of like cars on the driveway outside just to give that look that this is a family that lives here. And I also include a little basketball hoop area for the kids too. And as far as the kids and the type of Sims are concerned for this house, I don't know if I said in the beginning, but I did end up furnishing this for like 6 Sims. So there's 2 parents, there's 2 teens, and there's 2 kids. And I also included a food bowl for a cat, which at first I almost was going to do a dog instead, but I always do dogs, so at the last minute I decided to do a cat. And then I also do like a little horse barn / horse shed area in the backyard too. That was actually one of the main things I wanted to include in this build before I started. I just, for some reason, find it super satisfying to include a horse in a build that's not in Chestnut Ridge. I don't know why. Probably because they're made for Chestnut Ridge, and so it's just, you know, assumed a horse build would automatically go there, but I feel like they're kind of perfect for Brindleton Bay too. And since this is in Brindleton Bay, there's not any horse obstacles around the neighborhood like there is in Chestnut Ridge. And so I wanted to include at least one of those here. And I really wanted to do the jumping one, but the jumping one didn't fit. The jumping one is a little bit larger than the barrels are, and so I ended up just having to do the barrels instead. But that's fine. Like, you could totally just have your horse and take your horse to Chestnut Ridge. It's fine. You can just take a ride over there and you can practice jumping with them over there. At least there's barrels here. I mean, it's better than nothing. And sometimes you just have to take what you can get. And I did the actual shed for the horse a little bit different than I normally do. I usually do it super nice. It's 2-story and extravagant, but this is only a single story build, and so I did not want to do that here. I actually kept it just single story, and it's not enclosed at all as far as like walls are concerned. There are fences around it, and there's a gate, so you can lock it at night if you want to. I mean, luckily in The Sims, like, you don't have to worry about them running off or getting stolen or anything like that. And so, I mean, really honestly, you could even delete the fencing and just have the open bed for the horse, but I wanted it to look a little realistic, and so it does have a roof on it, and then there's the fencing all around it, but there's no like wall enclosures, and so it's like open for the horse. Like, it's just gonna be super breezy in there, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And then the feeder is in there as well, but then the water I could not fit in there, and so I had to put it outside, kind of against the wall in the back. And then I also included one of those like balls for the horse too. And so the horse has plenty of fun skill building items and play toys, food, water, everything the horse can ever need is included in this build, so that's super nice. And same for the cat on the inside too. I figured the teenager is the owner of the cat, like she's the one that wanted the cat, and so the cat pretty much stays in her room. The food and water is in the kitchen, but like the cat tree and the little scratching post and some toys is in her room. I figured that's like her cat. And then the horse is like the family horse, like multiple Sims in the family, the mom, dad, and all the kids, they like to take turns riding the horse, but it's mainly the mom's horse. Like, the mom has raised that horse from a little foal, and so she loves that horse to death, and she's trained it really, really well too. They've won a couple of championships, and so she just loves that horse so much, sometimes more than her own children. I'm just joking. That was a joke, guys. I'm just joking. But she does love it more than her own husband, and that's fine. So we are starting on the furnishings on the inside of the house. I have the floor plan completely done. And as you can see, like I was saying earlier, it is a split floor plan. So there's the master bedroom and master bathroom on the left side of the house where the living room is. And then there's the kitchen and dining room in the heart of the home, which leads to another hallway, which leads to the main bathroom, and then the other 4 bedrooms. I was actually super happy with the fact that I was able to fit so many bedrooms in this house. This is actually quite a large home for it being only a single story, and so that was super, super nice. The kitchen is a little bit on the small side, but that's just how the floor plan laid out. At the end of the day, it gets the job done. You're able to prepare meals in there and have a nice family dinner, so that's really all that matters. Now that I'm looking though, I totally did not add enough chairs at the dining table, but that is going to be something so easy for you guys to add once you download this. You can add 2 more chairs on both sides of the ends of the table, and then there's going to be plenty of room for the family to eat there. Technically there's enough room because there's 2 stools at the island, but I like to make sure there's enough at the dining table if I can help it. Well, hold on, now that I'm doing the math, there's 4 kids in this house and 2 parents, so there is enough chairs at the dining table, so totally just scratch what I just said. I did not know what I was talking about apparently. I think my brain is shutting down for the rest of the year. I think it's ready for 2026 to come. Luckily that's coming sooner than later though, just literally later tonight, it'll be 2026, so hopefully my brain will start working again at that point. But while we're on that subject, I literally cannot believe that it's about to be 2026. I can't believe it, guys. I feel like this last year went by so fast, and it's true what they say. The older you get, the faster time goes by. I never realized what that meant. Well, I knew what it meant when I was a kid, but I thought it was just not true. I thought it was just something that older people would say, but honestly, the older I get, the more I get it, because that is so true. 2026 is the last year of my 20s, so I mean, there's that. So I am getting older and time is going faster. But anyways, we are starting in the living room now. So the kitchen and dining room is not done. I am gonna go back there and finish up the decor, but I just wanted to come in like the living room and find the couches that I wanted to use. And I'm not gonna lie, I had kind of a hard time figuring out which set of couches I wanted to use for this build. Like, I have only a few of the packs installed and it's just expansion packs. I think I have Get Together, City Living, Seasons, Cats and Dogs, Horse Ranch, Adventure Awaits, Businesses and Hobbies, ? I have a few of the expansion packs installed, okay? I don't remember exactly which ones, so I'm sorry about that. But if you do want to download this, on the gallery it will tell you which packs are installed, but it's like just a handful of the expansion packs. And so I didn't have a lot of the couches I was thinking of using, and also the color scheme, it was a little bit hard for me because I'm not used to doing black and white, right? And so it was just, it took some getting used to, but once I got used to the look of it, I actually started to like the way it looked. And I am using these couches from Horse Ranch, and I'm using the black swatch, which I don't normally do, but this is a modern farmhouse build, and so it was honestly perfect to use those couches, especially in the black swatch. So I was super happy that I did go with those. And like I said, at first, I didn't love the way it looked. It definitely took some getting used to, but I'm glad that I kept it and just got used to the look of it because I started to really like it once it was done. Like the screenshots of this build, I think turned out super good. Like it looks so classy in this house. I'm just super happy with the way that it turned out. So apparently I got distracted during this build. I went to test the fireplace just to make sure that it fit where it was. Sometimes the coffee tables can be in the way, and so I just wanted to make sure it was functional. And so I went to the outside to make sure that you could actually see the smoke coming out of the chimney. And then I realized how just blank it looked in the backyard, which obviously drove me crazy enough to the point where I decided to put some trees back there. And I almost went with like the normal base game oak trees that you find in like Willow Creek and stuff, but it didn't fit enough with Brindleton Bay for my liking. And so I went into debug for Cats and Dogs, and I came across these like really big bushy trees. I don't know what you call those, but it's different than the ones that you find in the Cats and Dogs build by. And I didn't even know that these existed until I was taking some time during this build to look around the surrounding trees. And I seen those and I'm like, oh, I need to look for those. And so that's when I went and debugged and I found them. And I'm so happy that I did that because I think that it just makes it look so much more like filled up and like homey almost, I guess, and realistic. I like those trees a lot, to be honest. And looking at the outside of this build during this speed build, I really wish that I would have kept the sidewalk leading from the like front door to the driveway. How I have those stepping stone looking concrete blocks heading from one to the other. I ended up removing it because of the landscaping that I did. It just didn't look right with the landscaping that I did. But I wish that I would have kept it more of like a trimmed up landscaping like I have it here without adding all of the extras. But at the end of the day, I ended up adding all the extras because I am extra. And so I guess it's fine. It still looks good. I'm really loving the way that it looks here right now without having all the extra. But you know what? I can always do another modern farmhouse in the future, so I guess next time I'll keep it more like clean looking and not so like landscaped. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys prefer the way it looks right now, how it's all nice, neatly trimmed and clean? Or do you like the finished look of this build with all of the extra landscaping that I end up using? Let me know down below because I'm really, really curious how you guys feel about the landscaping on like a modern farmhouse sort of build. So I am now working on each of the bathrooms, and as you can see, I'm keeping the black and white theme going on. The whole house is black and white besides each of the kids' rooms. Like I wanted each of the kids' rooms to showcase their unique personality as much as possible. And plus, I feel like it's a lot more realistic to give the kids colorful rooms. I feel like what kid wants a black and white room only, you know? And so it was super important for me to give the kids the colorful rooms that they probably deserve. Since the rest of the house is black and white, they need some sort of color somewhere. So for the teen girl, it looks like as of right now, I am doing black and white, but I do end up changing that. So I give her like kind of like pink and purple with black mixed in. And then the teen boy, I do like just blues, different shades of blue. And the child boy, I do have bunk beds right now. I was gonna do twin boys in there, but I really wanted to have a horse and a cat, so I had to get rid of something. And so there is no longer twin children. There's just like a child boy and a child girl. Boy, I gave like a blue and green sort of room, and then the girl, I gave a pink and blue one, like a pink and like a light blue. I'm working on the hallway now that's leading to all of the kids' rooms, and it's really not special. I do love that rug from Seasons though, that black and white one. I never use that specific swatch. Usually I use the one that's like green and like beige with like the green leaves on it, and I love that one too. That rug is such a cute rug. It's my favorite haul rug in the game for sure. And it was super fun to be able to use the black and white swatch this time. And I also end up putting a chess table in the first part of the hallway. Like I have like, that hallway's a little bit of a weird shape. There's like an initial like square that leads to like a rectangle. And in the square room, that's where I ended up putting the chess table. It was like too perfect not to put there. I could have put just another hall table there, but I don't like to do too many of those too close together. I feel like it looks a little bit off. And so I wanted it to be some sort of functional. And so I ended up doing a chess table. I tried to put a piano there originally, but yeah, that's way too small of a space for that. The parents' room, however, they do end up having a little keyboard in there. And I also put like a guitar. So I figured one of the parents, probably dad, since mom's super into like horse riding, maybe dad's into like music. And so they have lots of different musical instruments in this house, or at least in their room. And talking about the parents' room, I definitely kept the black and white theme in their room, and I actually really love the way that their room turned out. I think it turned out super classy looking. And so as a kid, I went with my friend and her mom to one of her mom's friends' like townhouses. And I remember walking in there and it was just black and white with some red accents here and there. It almost looked you know, pretty similar to this house, like the color scheme. And I remember thinking it was so pretty. And she had like black and white, like Marilyn Monroe pictures all on the walls. And it just seemed like, I don't know, I felt like it was a celebrity's house. When it wasn't. It wasn't a celebrity's house at all. But the theme of the house was just so cohesive and super nice and nothing that I've seen before. You know, I've only ever been in like family houses that has nothing but color. And so it was super interesting to me. And building this house and looking back at it now on the speed build just reminds me of that house so much, especially the bedroom. And as much as I like to admire a house like this, I don't think I could ever have a house like this. I like color way too much. And so, yeah, I mean, as pretty as it is and how much I would love to see it in real life, again, I don't think I ever could have a house that's just like black, white with some red accent. I need a lot more color in my life than that. I just love color. As you guys could probably tell for most of my builds, how colorful they are. Yeah, that's pretty much how I am in real life. But we are now in the dining room, finishing up the dining room and the kitchen, and I pretty much keep the kitchen pretty clean looking. Like, I don't have a lot of like decorations all over the counters, and that's mainly because there's not a lot of counter space to begin with. I definitely wanted to add a microwave. A microwave is just so easy. It's definitely super nice to have one during your gameplay so that the kids or maybe the parents, if they're in a rush, they can just go to the microwave and pop a breakfast burrito in the microwave and cook it real quick and then eat it. Or like a corn dog or whatever it is that your sim wants. There's plenty of different things that they can do in the microwave. Just super nice to have that. Especially considering this family has 4 kids, 4 older kids that could definitely fend for themselves and make their own meal in the microwave. So definitely wanted to make sure I have that. And I'm just sticking with the theme here, guys. I'm doing like red accents with black and white sort of like decorations. I do end up putting a fruit bowl on the island though, and that's the only other color that you'll see in this whole house. Well, other than the kids' rooms, of course, and other than the fruit picture on the wall. But for the most part, that's basically the only other like color you'll see. Like the yellow and stuff, yeah, you won't see too much of that. So I almost forgot to put like a tile in the kitchen behind the cabinets, and I decided to go ahead and take advantage of putting this like growing together one in the bathrooms as well as the kitchen too. And I never ever use this wall tile from growing together, and it's because I hate the fact how the ones with like color on it, like the blue, it has a random black line in the middle of it, and I honestly cannot stand that. But for a build like this, it's perfect. So I definitely wanted to take advantage and go ahead and use it here because this will probably be the only time I'll ever use it. And I'm not even lying. Like, I think this is like one of the first times I've used it without it being specifically for a growing together build. And I do think it looked really, really nice. So I was really happy with it, which is surprising to admit because I typically hate it. But like I said, for a black and white build like this, it was perfect. So we are now starting on the kids' rooms, and as you can see, I went ahead and added the color on the walls that I wanted to use for each of the kids' rooms, just so I can get like a gauge on the color scheme I'm going to have for each. And this is the teen girl's room. She is into gaming. She actually has like a streaming side gig that she does when she's not in school, and she absolutely loves it. There's 2 things in this world that she loves. It's gaming and it's her cat. And that's about it. So I wanted to showcase those 2 things in her room. So she has plenty of posters on her wall. She has like a gaming poster. I tried to think of what like a teen girl would like, and I'm sticking with the pink, purple, and like black theme throughout her room. I almost went with the black cat tree that had like zebra print on it. I really, really liked it, but I thought the purple just added that extra color that this room really needed. The black was just a little bit too much black since I have the black rug and black bedspread. And so I ended up going with the purple instead. But I do think the purple was super cute too though. And that is pretty much it for the teen girls room. I think her room turned out so cute. I always do teen girls rooms like the best in my opinion. I always go all out for some reason. And I always just love the way that they come out. And now I am doing the teen boys room. He is a little bit on like the neater side compared to his sister. And he's super into sports and working out. And he loves basketball. He's on the football team at his high school. And he really loves to keep his room as clean and neat as possible. So you'll see that in here. There's not a lot of clutter compared to his sister's room. There's quite a bit of clutter over there. They're pretty opposite as far as like they're concerned. And they're actually twins. And so it's pretty funny how opposite that they actually are. And so we have the workout machine in here. I have a radio in here because he loves to listen to music as he's working out. I have like this little clutter piece that has a baseball bat and basketball. It has a football, it has a tennis racket, just a lot of different like sports items. And then I put a TV in here too, and that's really about it for his room. Nothing really too special. He spends a lot of his time outside, just like his little brother. His little brother is super into like outdoorsy things too. So you'll see I added a lot of different like Adventure Awaits items. In his little brother's room, I have the lamp from Adventure Awaits. I have like the computer desk and the dresser that has like the stickers on it and has like the distressed wood. I think that those are so cute. And then there's this sticker on the wall, just a lot of different outdoorsy items in here. He loves to go to summer camp. He loves to go outside and collect butterflies and caterpillars, moths, a lot of different like bugs and stuff. And just loves to be outside. I do have like a mental table and a creativity table in his room just so there's some extra skill building items. Oh, and I put one of those little tablets in here too at the computer desk. And then in his sister's room, she actually has like the creativity crafting little kit on the computer desk in her room. And I gave them both imaginary friends. I gave her like I forget their names. I think it's Pegasaur, maybe? It's the unicorn one. And then the brother, I gave him like the wild child one or whatever that one's called. Forgive me, I forget the names of them. But I think they're all super cute. And I tried to give the kids ones that goes with their personality, to be honest. I just feel like that makes the most sense. As for this child, she really loves crafting and working at the creativity table. She does not have a creativity table in her room, but she does go over to her brother's room and uses his a lot, like more than he uses his own. I do put a scouts board in her room, and I figured that they are both in scouts and the brother just comes over and uses her scouts board when he needs to. I really like to have each of the kids share the items in each of their rooms because it's hard to put every item in each of their rooms, and it's really honestly not necessary to. So I really like to put some items in one of the kids' rooms and then other items in the other room, if I have more than one kid in the house anyways. So we are finally done with each of the rooms in the house. The whole inside's completely done, and I am now working on the outside of the build. So we do have a second chess table on the back porch because I didn't really know what else to put out there, and we had enough like sitting areas. We have sitting areas in the front of the build on the front porch, and then I have like lounge chairs by the pool in the back. I also have this umbrella table and chair set. So there's plenty of sitting areas, so I figured let's just put a second chess table. There's so many kids in this house that it definitely would be used for sure. And since I have Adventure Awaits installed, I had to take advantage of that and put a water slide by the pool. Like, I could not do that. So we do have the water slide. I love to add those. And I really wanted to add a modular playground set, but once I added the area for the horse, we just did not have any room for that. And I also don't have monkey bars anywhere on this lot. So that's definitely not ideal, especially considering that we have super active Sims in this house, but that's fine, I guess. You might be able to find a spot for it if you download this. I'm sure there will be a spot you could squeeze it in somewhere. And we do have the basketball hoop out, and I want to say that that raises the motor skill for the kids, and it definitely raises the fitness skill for the adults and teens. At least it should. If not, then that is definitely a missed opportunity. And I am now starting to build the little area for the horse. So as you can see, I tried to add the jumping obstacle for the horse, but it was way too large, and so I ended up doing the barrels instead, which is better than nothing for sure. And I have this little like shed area, so it's not indoors. It does have the fencing around it so that you can lock your horse in there if you need to. And other than that, it's really like mainly outdoor, which is this is the first time I'm doing a shed like this for a horse. And so it was different, it was fun to do. It's really just for the horse to like eat or sleep in, and they can use the rest of the yard to like roam around. And then they can also go outside of the gate and roam around the whole neighborhood if they need to. I don't have it as part of the speed build. I didn't do it until I was completely done with the video, but I did end up adding a second gate on the back of the privacy fence in the back of the build because I wanted a second area for the horse to exit out of to get to the main part of the neighborhood if it needed to, just in case it wasn't able to go out of the front gate. And plus I really just wanted a second gate, and I thought it made a lot of sense to add a second gate in the back, so that is what I ended up doing. And even though it's not in the speed build, you'll be able to see it in the screenshots as like the finished product. But at this point in the build, I really have said all there is to say about this build. I really hope you enjoyed today's speed build. I hope you stick around for the screenshots at the end in just a few minutes. For the rest of the video, I am just going to be placing the landscaping and finishing up the terrain paint, and that is about it. So of course, if you did enjoy this video, please do not forget to leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already. Share this video with your friends if they are Simmers as well, and if you think that they would enjoy it. I hope you all have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Happy New Year. I hope you have a fantastic New Year's Eve. Stay safe for sure, and I will see you all in the next one very soon. Bye guys!